All right, it's that time. Okay, it is Wednesday, October 13th, 2021, 6 p.m. This regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners is called to order. If you will, join Commissioner Hodges on the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
And please remain standing afterwards also. Our Heavenly Father, we come humbly before you to ask your divine guidance and in the help of the deliberations made this evening. Bless the members of this commission and the citizens that are present at this meeting. We pray that our work this evening will find favor in your sight. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mayor Hendricks.
Here.
Vice Mayor Price. Here. Commissioner Hodges. Here. Commissioner Andrews.
Here.
Commissioner Hudson.
Here.
Next is approval of the agenda. And on that, I would like to move item 10C to between public comment and the consent agenda. That's okay with everyone? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I have nothing else on there. Anyone else? Okay. Next is proclamations and presentations.
Do we need a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the change just mentioned by the mayor.
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price.
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges.
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews.
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson.
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks.
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is proclamations and presentations. City Clerk, would you like to read the first proclamation?
I think you get to hear my voice.
Okay.
You'll tire of it soon, I'm sure. This proclamation's Lights On After School Day, October 28, 2021. Whereas the citizens of Madeira Beach have firmly committed to quality after-school programs and opportunities because they provide safe, challenging, and engaging learning experience that help children develop social, emotional, physical, and academic skills. They also support working families by ensuring their children are safe and productive after the regular school day ends. They also build stronger communities by involving students, parents, business leaders, and adult volunteers in the lives of young people, thereby promoting positive relationships among youth, families, and adults. They also engage families, schools, and community partners in advancing the welfare of our children. Whereas the Florida After School Network and the City of Madeira Beach After School Program have provided significant leadership throughout the pandemic to keep kids engaged in learning and meet the needs of the families in our communities, especially those who need extra support to catch up and accelerate their learning. And whereas Lights On After School, the national celebration of after-school programs held this year on October 28, 2021, promotes the importance of quality after-school programs in the lives of children, families, and communities. And whereas approximately 1.5 million children and youth in Florida are waiting right now for a spot in the after-school program. Many of them have no place to go after school, and whereas many after-school programs across the state are facing funding and staffing shortfalls so severe that they're being forced to close their doors and turn off their lights. And whereas the City of Madeira Beach is committed to investing in the health and safety of all young people by providing expanded learning opportunities that will help close the achievement gap and prepare young people to compete in the global economy. And now, therefore, I, John B. Hendricks, Mayor of the City of Madeira Beach, do recognize the week of October 28th, 2021 as Lights On After School Day, and commit the City of Madeira Beach residents to invest and engage in proven after-school programs and activities that ensure the lights stay on and the doors stay open for all children after school. Dated this 13th day of October, 2021.
Thank you. City Clerk, I believe you have something to present also.
The proclamation on Florida City Government Week. And I'll read that.
Okay.
Proclamation, Florida City Government Week, October 18th through the 24th, 2021. Whereas city government is the government closest to most citizens and the one with the most direct daily impact upon its residents, and whereas municipal government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for its residents, making their city their home, and whereas city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities, and whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along the understanding of public services and their benefits, and whereas Florida City Government Week offers an important opportunity for elected officials and city staff to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they can shape and influence this branch of government, and whereas the Florida League of Cities and its member cities have joined together to teach citizens about municipal government through a variety of activities. Now, therefore, I, John B. Hendricks, Mayor of the City of Madeira Beach, do recognize October 18th-24 as Florida City Government Week. And the City of Madeira Beach encourages all citizens, city government officials, and employees to participate in events that recognize and celebrate Florida City Government Week, encourages educational partnerships between city government and schools, as well as civic groups and other organizations, supports and encourages all Florida city governments to actively promote and sponsor Florida City Government Week, passed and adopted by the City of Madeira Beach this 13th day of October 2021. And to you all, there's pens in the back, ink pens, some blue ones and some yellow. If anyone would like to have one, it's for Florida City Government Week, and it's posted on there.
Thank you very much. If they run out back there, I've got more right here.
We have plenty.
Next is presentations. The first one is Help Us Gather, HUG. I'd like to welcome Robin Lally and Jody Armstrong, Director of Outreach, Disability Achievement Center. Jody I have known for years. Jody's past mayor of Reddington Shores, president of Madeira Beach Treasure Island Chamber of Commerce, as well as a multitude of other things. This lady works tirelessly. And before you get started, I want to pass these down and pass those down. And then, Jody, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Hendricks. Good evening, Commissioners. I am so thrilled to be here. Nearly 3 years ago, we held our first meeting for the Pinellas County Council for Persons with Disabilities. We are an advisory council to the Board of County Commissioners on all things disability related. In our first meeting, Treasure Island presented their Moby Mat because they just got it. And ever since then, this man back here, Michael Chaffone, and I have been running around up and down the beaches begging, asking, pleading to please add a mobility mat to your beach so that everyone, not just 6 out of 7 people who have mobility issues, but all persons with disabilities and mobility issues will be able to access the beaches. So we've been hard at this, keeping patient, and the biggest thing was we don't have money from every municipality to the county. We don't have the money. If you can find the funding, we'll put one down. Guess what? I found the funding. Yay! So, Robin couldn't make it. She must have gotten stuck somewhere. She's a very busy person, but she created HUG a few years ago to help people with disabilities have social opportunities. And HUG, helpusgather.org, is an online calendar of events for people with disabilities, helping us gather. She is also co-founder of the Forward Foundation, which I had no idea of when I spoke with her in June. We had a conversation about the Moby mats, and during the conversation, I told about our efforts and where we had been and what we had done. And she says, well, how much are these things? I said, between $5,000 and $20,000, depending on the length. And she said, we have a foundation. And we want a project just like this because this will impact so many people. So we started out, she goes, well, let's try 3. That was in June, and nothing was happening. By the end of September, she says, I've got a press release. This will get them. And that went out, and the Forward Foundation has offered to pay for any mat that any municipality wants to put down throughout Pinellas County. They will pay for the permitting fees. And I have been working tirelessly with FDEP and FWC to streamline that permitting process because that has been the glitch point for everyone. So in front of you, what you have now are all of the commitments that the Forward Foundation has made. And as of today, and this map keeps changing, as of today, we will have 19 mats in Pinellas County and 4 in Pasco County. You guys, we're going to get one at Archibald Park. Yeah. And we are just so thrilled because it's the right thing to do. It's the right place to be. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see this project finally happen. Because when people think of people with disabilities, you think of, oh golly, the most severe people. Oh, we have beach wheelchairs and that's enough. But no, it goes so much deeper than that. It goes to anyone who's had a hip replacement, anyone who uses a prosthetic, anyone who has kids, anyone who has grandparents, anyone who has trouble walking a little bit in the sand. You know that people avoid that beach because they can't get there. And we want people to get there. That's why we're all here. That's why I decided I was here. So that's what we're looking for, and we're so excited. And the way this will work is that we've got the measurements. We're putting in the application. And we already have the measurements, we have the quotes, that as soon as those permits are approved, then HUG will draft a check to the City of Madeira Beach because they are, not HUG, but I'm sorry, Forward Foundation is a nonprofit and cannot write a check directly to the beach access mat, the Moby mat company. They have to give it to another entity, because they're nonprofit to another government or municipal. So they will write a check to you, and then you write a check to MobyMat, and then we roll. Okay? One thing that they are asking for, and is just like Treasure Island has a nice plaque at the entrance of there saying that this is, what this mat is for and why it's important. And we're going to ask the Madeira Beach do that as well. Put a sign up there. And include Forward Foundation, who is the funder, HUG, which is their sub-organization, which is the active organization, and Disability Achievement Center. We are the Center for Independent Living. We help people of any age and any disability throughout Pinellas and Pasco counties. So we've got a nice little project going on, guys. You got questions?
No, I do want to say also thank you to Northside Engineering for all of the pro bono engineering work they've done on all these projects.
Absolutely. He's been wonderful. He agreed to do everyone's. I've also reached out to Rep. Cheney and Rep. DeSegli. Once those permit applications go into Tallahassee, they will do their thing and work from the administrative top down. We've done our part by getting it up there. So we've got every piece covered, and now it's time to go.
Jody, thank you so much. This is great
That's
from Madeira
great.
Beach.
I would like to let Michael come up, Michael Chiffone. Michael Chiffone has truly been the inspiration for this entire project. When things were tough and we kept getting no's, we leaned on each other and said, keep going, just keep going. It's going to happen at some point. So I'd like to introduce Michael Chiffone.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Commissioners. I'm here to, I'm the reason why this thing all got started, and I gave the mayor a Moby map. I have disability, and it'll explain to you all about the mats. And I usually go before Jody, but Jody's kind of said everything. I found Hug, and then it went on, and Robin's in there, and she said, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. So everything will be funded. No, we don't need any money. We just need you to fill out the paperwork when it comes to you so we can get these mats. Thank you, and I hope you do it all. Like I said, it's no money out of your pocket and nothing, and it'll be great. If you don't believe, I go down to Treasure Island sometimes, just sit there and watch how many people everybody uses the mat. Everybody. And when a wheelchair comes or something, they move out of the way. They know it's there, and it's a great necessity to have on the beach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will say also, I believe, Director Wapfer, that all the paperwork is already prepared and ready to go. So it's all set. Hopefully that's okay with everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Next is Gulf Beaches Rotary. They're here, I think, to present a check to the city as co-sponsors of the annual carnival. Yeah.
Come on, Jay. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is John Marr. I'm here with the Gulf Beaches Rotary. I'm the chairman of our carnival that we have here in Rock Park every year. This year, despite COVID, we had a particularly successful carnival, and we're glad that the city is our partner. I'm a Madeira Beach resident, so it means a lot to me to be able to have the carnival in my own hometown here. So I'm sure some of you came out. I know I saw the mayor helping us carry some beer on a Saturday night, so I'm sure hopefully everybody came out and saw our setup. But we generally have it every year around St. Patrick's Day, and it goes for 4 days. And the city has been our sponsor or partner for 6 years since we've been here in Madeira Beach. So with the rec department and Jay here, we work in tandem and have our carnival. And it's a family-friendly operation. It's clean. It's a nice setup. And this year we had a lot of people come, which is great. So without further ado, you typically have a big check that's got the numbers on it, but somebody wrote on it with a permanent marker, so we're not going to be able to bring that tonight. But I gave the real check to Jay, and the amount this year is $24,127.35.
Wow. Thank you.
We had lots of local participation. We have a lot of local sponsors and volunteers, and it means a lot to us as the Rotary. You know, we're a children operation where we give most of our money to kids in need that need our help. So the city, their share goes to the rec department. So that's a important cause as well. So again, thank you, Jay. I don't know if you want to say a few words.
I just want to thank you, everyone in the Rotary and all the volunteers that we had for the event. It was scary coming back out of COVID, and having to cancel it last year was definitely a blow to the momentum that event has. But, everybody that volunteered and participated and showed up and enjoyed themselves. So, something that we look to continue to do and, make greater every year. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I just wanted to add that Nancy and Bob are in the Rotary with us. I'm sure the city is well aware of that, and obviously they're a big part of our club. So Again, thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Take a picture while we're, you want one more picture?
You should get up.
With the
and-
mayor in?
Oh.
Get the mayor in.
Okay.
We ready? Chief. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
I just have a small comment to make to leave. Before you all leave, I just want everyone to know that I am part of the Rotary, and I've seen every single one of these people working, and I mean really working. John, he's there from opening to closing all 4 days. He works really hard, and everyone else here has done the same thing. And I do want to thank you. You've done a great job.
You too.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you guys again.
For a few good numbers. Always.
Tilt over this way. And Happy, can you come down here with me?
Oh, absolutely.
This is all your fault. I see the Coast Guard Auxiliary is here. I don't know why. If y'all would like to come on up, the City of Madeira Beach would like to present you with a check. And Vice Mayor Price brought this to our attention, and all this credit goes to her for helping you guys out. We agree with it. You guys have been by my house to check my boat out, told me I should haul it away somewhere. But thank you for all you do for this community and helping out around our waterways, and we really appreciate it. And hopefully this will help out in some small way. It's something I'd like to see us be able to continue on a yearly basis. So thank you.
Absolutely. So we'd like to present a $10,000 check for the maintenance of the building. That's in my district, by the way. But thank you guys for all that you do, the training you do, the rescues that you do, the inspections that you do, and it's all on a volunteer basis. All the money that they get in is based on, who pays for the training and the captain, not the captain courses, but the safety courses that you do. I really miss you guys. You used to do that right out I could see you on Saturday mornings. Good. Well, thank you very much. Glad to have you on standby.
Sure. Happy's got to be in it too. She brought this to our attention. So.
We would like to thank the commissioners for having the foresight and supporting the Holiday Isle Marine Training and Rescue Group, which is the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary here in Madeira Beach. We thank you for bringing us to the board. We thank Commissioner Hudson for his generous support of us. As you know, the municipality of Madeira Beach is 62% water. As you have seen in your own local neighborhoods here, the boatyards are empty. They can't keep boats. The boating population has grown tremendously during COVID. There are over 50,000 boats registered in Pinellas County, and I think most of them are in Johns Pass on holiday afternoons. What you have done is allow us to continue our 68-year history of marine training, of rescue, public education courses, causing the aids to navigations to be fixed out here, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Where's the mayor?
Right here. Right here. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Here we go. Come on, get in here, Roger. Obviously, she can't get us over hugging her.
Yeah.
I can hug you forever.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have a party.
Catherine said she's coming, yeah. Not tonight. Yeah.
Okay, next is public comment. If you have any public comment to make that is not on the agenda tonight, please step forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. Next is 10C that we moved, which is ratification of a successor collective bargaining unit agreement with IAFF Local 4966. Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mayor. As I've tried my best to keep you informed during the progress, and the negotiations went really well with the union, and hopefully they feel the same way with the city. And I'd like to invite Andy up. Did you want to say a couple words? Lieutenant Childers.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the city's negotiation team for their diligence, hard work, and professionalism throughout this whole thing. At the end of the day, it was really a pleasure working with you guys. Secondly, really kind of more from the heart and from myself, I would just like to throw out how proud I am to work for the city. Sorry, I'm gonna get a little. And realistically, I'd just like to say how proud I am of the people that we have over there right now. We've really got something good going. This contract's gonna go a long way in keeping that together. You know, I've seen these guys deliver babies. I've seen these guys pull people out of fires. Then just an hour ago, they saved a guy's life at the beach. Yeah. And this contract's gonna go a long way in keeping that together. So I appreciate it.
Good.
Mayor, we need a motion to approve the contract.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Madeira Beach and the Pinellas County Professional Firefighters, IAFF Local 4966, and we appreciate you too.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks.
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you all. That's Chief Belk. Hopefully you mentioned to them number one in response time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, and I apologize, I meant to slide this in under our presentations, but I do have one of our charter officers that I wanted to make a quick presentation. It'll be very quick.
Okay.
But Clara Van Blargen, our city clerk, has worked hard, and she also, for the month of September, she worked hard at doing training that she did online to help better her as a supervisor and a manager. And through the John Scott Daly Florida Institute of Government at the University of Florida, She received her certificate in supervision and government, and it was a 24-hour program. And then she also, through the Florida State University, in their Institute of Government, she attended again online a new council and candidate orientations. And so I have these two certificates I wanted to present to Clara and give her the recognition she deserves. Thank you, Clara. Congratulations.
Thank you, Clara, for all the hard work you do for all of us. Thank you.
And I really enjoy working here, and I really enjoy working with all the commissioners, city manager, city staff. Everybody is so helpful, and we all work together as a team, and we love the citizens and the community. And thank you.
Okay. Next is consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Okay, next is public hearings. First is Ordinance 2021-16, Amendment to the City of Madeira Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, Florida Building Code, Floodplain References, second reading and public hearing.
Good evening. Ordinance number 2021-16, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 14, Buildings and Building Regulations of Code of Ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach to provide consistency with and support of the adopted provisions of Chapter 94, Floodplain Management of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Madeira Beach, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. And Director Portell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. The purpose of this, as you may recall from the first reading, is to make sure that we are consistent internally within our codes, addressing things like the height and other floodplain management issues, and also be consistent with the state building code and practices at the state for emergency management. Much of the language in here, all of it's been reviewed by the state, and they had something to say about almost everything. So even the specifics of the language are consistent with the state now.
Okay. Is there any more discussion amongst the commission?
No.
Is there any public comment on this? Is there an ordinance on, is there a motion on Ordinance 2021-16?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-16.
Is there a second?
Second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is Ordinance 2021-22, amending City of Madeira Beach Code of Ordinances, Section 82-2, amending the definition of building contiguous tourists as defined in dwelling unit, employee, height, and nonconforming structure or use. First reading and public hearing.
Ordinance number 2021-22, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the definition of building contiguous tourist as defined under the definition of dwelling unit, employee, height, and nonconforming structure or use in Section 82-2, definitions of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Madeira Beach, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. The purpose in this is to clean up some of the definitions. Things change over time. Demands change on building and on interpretation of use. And in some cases, we found that we have inconsistencies in definitions throughout the code or between our code and what is standard practice. So some of those things that have been posing problems most recently are coming before you here tonight. We're actually working on the entire definition section, and we'll be bringing that back. And we're working also with the city attorney's office to make sure that the language is working throughout to make the code more accessible to everyone. We are dealing with the buildings and defining what is a building. That has been brought to your attention as an issue in the past recently. We are also talking about height, or actually not so much the height, the square footage that defines what is a hotel room. Hotel rooms, as you know, nowadays are not necessarily single rooms with 2 beds in them, but they may be suites and things of that nature, and our current code doesn't actually allow for that. So we wanted to bring that up to speed. Definition of an employee was needed to be defined because, according to our code, you're only an employee if you work for an adult business establishment. It makes it a little bit difficult to address employee issues and access and things like that elsewhere in the code. So we're just cleaning that one up as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments, discussion amongst the commission?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could. I guess, do we have any condo hotels in Madeira Beach currently?
What's happened over time, the condos have begun functioning as hotels and are gradually becoming recognized as tourist accommodations instead of condos. And we have the proposal for building potentially more condo-type hotels.
So the purpose of the change between a hotel unit and a condo, I don't understand.
What happens is that people come in now and they want to build tourist accommodations, but they can't because they can't use more than 850 square feet to do it. So they aren't able really, within our code, to provide the suite type situation or to use a condo hotel configuration with both, bedrooms separated out. They kind of blow the budget on the square foot requirement.
Okay. I guess the difference with the condo is it's only available for lease for 30 days, but the hotels are shorter?
Not necessarily. Well, no, a condo, usually when we refer to condos, we're talking about residences, not tourist accommodations. A condo hotel is just a definition of ownership. Somebody may own a hotel room or a hotel suite that is then rented out on their behalf by a management company. So sometimes what we get are really, nowadays, hotels being built and financed with the rooms individually being owned by separate people who maybe have access to them up to a month out of the year or something like that, and the rest of the time it functions as a standard hotel.
Okay.
So the real issue is just the size. We don't usually prevent that kind of ownership, but the size was really restrictive.
Got it.
The other thing I forgot to mention here is that under height of building, this is the first time you see height, and you'll be talking about it again in just a moment, but we had to specify that the height of a building also includes the freeboard, because gradually we've been scrunching down our potential second floors.
Right. And freeboard is average of how
right now we're at 4.
4 feet? Okay.
Right.
Okay, got it. And then there was one other thing, I don't understand it. Contiguous. We're changing the definition, and it looks like we're making this definition worse than it was to begin with. Okay. Parcels touching along a boundary or directly across roadway with a local or collector functional classification. What is that?
Right. That's a roadway classification. We usually, if you're sitting across the freeway from each other, you're not necessarily contiguous. You're not considered contiguous, but by planning practice,
Right.
you're contiguous if you're just face to face or, cross a local or a collector level road.
Right. I understand now. So
Mhm.
we had to use those terms because that's the type of
Standard,
the
yes.
road, and we can't
Mhm.
just say road. We
Right.
have to talk about its functional classification, apparently. Okay. All right. That's it for me.
Anyone else? Is there any public comment on this? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2021-22.
A second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is ordinance 2021-23, proposed amendments to City of Madeira Beach Code of Ordinances, Section 82-2, definitions, Section 110-182, maximum building height, R1, Section 110-207, R2, Section 110-232, maximum building height, R3, Section 110-262, maximum building height, C1, Section 110-292, maximum building height, C2, Section 110-322, maximum building height, C3, and Section 110-352, maximum building height, C4. First reading and public hearing.
Ordinance number 2021-23, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 110 zoning, Section 110-182, maximum building height, Section 110-207, maximum building height, Section 110-232, maximum building height, Section 110-262, maximum building height, Section 110-292, maximum building height, Section 110-322, maximum building height, Section 110-352, maximum building height of Code of Ordinances of the City of Madeira Beach to provide consistency with and support of the adopted provisions of Chapter 94, floodplain management of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Madeira Beach, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Director Portell.
As I mentioned during the last item, we're dealing with maximum building heights because over the years we have been raising freeboard, but we haven't raised the total height of a building. And so what's been happening is we make the bottom floor taller, but without moving the roof up. And so we've been compressing what would have been the second floor to the point where sometimes you can't get one in at all. We know that that's not the intent of those changes. The intent is to keep the bottom floor up out of the water. And so what we're suggesting is that all of our definitions be amended to include the base flood elevation plus whatever the freeboard is adopted at that time. Also, there's a recommended change for maximum building height dealing with the C2, Johns Pass Marina Commercial District, because in the process of doing this, we discovered that it currently only allows single-story buildings, and if you've been down to the pass, you'll know that every one of them has a second story. So the entire, the code makes the entire street non-conforming, which is also definitely not the intent of the city. So we wanted to at least clean that up for the moment.
Thank you. And something, and we talked about it today, myself and Director Portell. I want to be sure that this doesn't just lock us into that 44-foot height, because on commercial buildings, hotels, condos, and whatnot, we've got to look at the height of a parking garage, potentially under a lot of these units, and we want to be sure that we're not taking away from the height of the building strictly with the parking garage to where they're locked into a certain height on that. And as I understand, if we come to that, that will be handled as a PD.
Yes, we would have to do a PD to get past that. And as we look at the comprehensive plan and also at the land development regulations that support it, we come back to you with language that helps you have the options, either with a PD or a special exception or something where you see it's appropriate to add height if necessary. But right now, we've always done that by a PD. And in fact, our building heights are low enough that it's the reason every commercial project almost that comes to you as a PD because of the building height issue. And now, over time, you know, when these heights, as you're saying, when these heights were first established, people parked next to the building. And over the years, because of FEMA requirements, those requirements now have the parking under the building, sometimes 2 floors worth. If you're going to take up 2 floors worth of parking, there's nothing left to build on top of within a 44-foot and a pitched roof. So this is something that we would need to come back to, definitely. At this point, we just wanted to make sure we weren't making it impossible to at least get a second story or on top of a building because of the change in the freeboard.
Okay, and it'll potentially help cut down on the number of PD requests we're getting.
It would be better for us to have more of a performance standard so that you didn't have to do every single commercial building as a PD, yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Is there any public comment on this?
I actually have,
okay.
It's just a question. I'm glad we're cleaning this up and we're making it easier for everyone to conform, but just in the earlier section, I guess it's section 82-2, we have height, comma, building means the distance from the grade to the highest finished roof surface for a flat roof, or the average height if the roof has a pitch. But here we are in another part of the code, 110-182, where we're measuring height to the eave of the line of the building. Why don't we uniform how we measure the height of a building?
In some places in the code, we have to clean that up because, you know, every section of our code is a little different, and that's right. One of the things we're working on, or we'll be bringing back changes for. But sometimes in the code, you specify that the maximum, the height will be up to the eaves, but the maximum height of the building is the following, so that people don't build overly exuberant roofs or extra things on top of the building. So usually you do see where there is a maximum height from the ground and a building height that goes to the eaves.
Got it. Okay. All right. It just seems like
we'll look at it
building
again.
Now we have 3 definitions of a height.
We're trying to fix it.
Okay.
All right. We'll look at it carefully again.
I'll let you go at your pace. Okay. You know me, I think we got too many ordinances. I'd like to just get them all more uniform.
Saying, defend the shores and deliver the mail. Any public comment on this? Do I have a motion on ordinance 2021-23?
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance 2021-23 as presented by Linda Portel.
Second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is ordinance 2021-24, prescribing the manner of holding the March 15th, 2022 municipal election, providing for the polling places and providing for a referendum on the sale of real property owned by the city. First reading and public hearing.
Ordinance number 2021-24, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, calling for a municipal election on March 15th, 2022, for the purpose of electing a commissioner for District 1 and a commissioner for District 2, providing for a referendum for the sale of real property owned by the city, providing for publication, authorizing election expenditures, identifying the Pinellas County Canvassing Board as the canvassing board for the March 15th, 2021 municipal election, providing for repeal of the ordinances or parts of the ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this is my item, and I'll read my memo that I prepared for ordinance number 2124. And there will be an election held in the city of Madeira Beach on Tuesday, March the 15th, 2021, for the purpose of electing a commissioner for District 1 and a commissioner for District 2 for a 2-year term, and for the purpose of a referendum to obtain approval for the sale of real property owned by the city. Pursuant to City Charter Section 1.7, the referendum question will require a majority vote of the electorate in favor before the sale of any real property owned by the city. The candidate qualifying period begins at noon, Monday, December 6, 2021, and ends at noon, Friday, December 17, 2021, excluding weekends. Candidates who qualified during this time will have their name placed on the ballot. In accordance with the City Charter, Section 3.4, subsection B, the Board of Commissioners shall designate the Pinellas County Canvassing Board to serve as the canvassing board for the City of Madeira Beach. The canvassing board shall certify all tests of election equipment and shall canvass absentee as well as provisional ballots. The actions of the canvassing board shall be reported to the Board of Commissioners at its next meeting following the election. The Board of Commissioners shall meet following the certification for the purpose of declaring the results of said election. The first meeting of each newly elected member of the Board of Commissioners for induction into office will be at a Board of Commissioners meeting to be held on or before the last day of the month in March 2022, City Charter Section 4.8. The 2-year term for the district commissioners will commence at the first regular meeting following the election, City Charter Section 2.2. The polling locations for the City of Madeira Beach voters to vote in the March 15, 2022 municipal election are as follows: Precinct 415, Madeira Beach Municipal Building, City Center Room, 300 Municipal Drive, Madeira Beach, Florida, and Precinct 301, Calvary Church Seminole, combined, 6155 113th Street, Seminole, Florida, 33772. The fiscal impact, with the fiscal impact to adopt ordinance number 2021-24, includes the cost of advertisement in the newspaper. The contractual services with the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections Office to conduct the March 15, 2022 municipal election is estimated at $6,556.67. Actual costs will not be known until the conclusion of the election process. The total cost of election expenditures is included in the adopted 2022 budget. The recommendation of the Board of Commissioners is to approve, after first reading and public hearing, ordinance number 2021-24, prescribing the manner of holding the municipal election on March 15, 2022, providing for the polling location for the election, and providing for a referendum for the sale of real property owned by the city. And what I prescribed was the manner of holding the election and when the qualifying period for the candidates, and therefore in the polling locations, etc.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question. Is this the only referendum we're putting on the ballot? I know we talked about a couple other things up here early on, so that, insurance for board members, things like that. I mean, I know that we were talking about getting some language for something along the lines of that. I think there was something else. For the life of me, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But is this the only referendum we're going forward with on this ballot?
to date, that's the only one that Trask has prepared. Of course, if he does another resolution for November, we still have time to get that on the ballot. The ballot deadline is December 31st of this month, so we have plenty of time.
Yeah, we've got time.
And I think the other thing, if I'm not for sure, I know there was a couple of things that the Board of Commissioners wanted to discuss at a workshop, a couple of items, and I think one of them was the criteria of a city manager.
Yeah, this just seemed like the finality of something because we're doing an ordinance, but I'm glad that that's still open where we can get something in. Cool, I'm good with it.
Yeah, well, we've got some language here on the sale of this property. Now, as I understood, Attorney Trask was going to get back with us on whether or not everything was finalized on this.
That does come up later on your agenda under new business. If you want to discuss it, then we can, or I'm happy to tell you now what we know, whichever you prefer.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us now so that we can discuss whether or not we're proceeding with this
Attorney
on the ballot.
Trask recommends that if you agree with everything else in the ordinance, that you go ahead and go forward and approve it as it is, with anticipation that the property will be the city's property by that time. The defendant in the case has filed an appeal. They have until the end of November to file their brief. We don't know if they have not as of today. I've checked just a little while ago. They have not filed anything yet, but they do have to the end of November. So if by chance it's still in litigation or something changes, it can be pulled before the election. If everything goes smoothly and the property is the city's, then you are prepared to have the referendum. If you wait, you're going to have to wait till next year, and you'll have that property in your inventory for a whole year, which I don't think that was the intent to do. That's why it's on there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor Price had done some work on wording on this, and I think we've got 3 pocket parks in close proximity to that vacant lot. Is that correct?
We probably do. We have a pocket park at the end of every street.
Yeah. And so it makes no sense to have another.
Yeah, because this isn't a pocket park.
Right.
This is not on the water. It's like right in the middle of a neighborhood.
So it just makes no sense to hang on to it.
Well, that's why I thought.
Not when it can start generating tax revenue for us.
Instead of costing us money to insure it and make sure no one injures themselves on this lot, we're better off selling it and letting someone put in a new home.
Yeah. So
I passed out, if you can see it in the packet when we get to that part later, but, just that first line was what was proposed, that the referendum say the city proposes to sell real property consisting of a vacant residential lot located at 13222 3rd Street East for an amount equal to or in excess of fair market value. I'm a big proponent of telling our voters what we're doing this for in order to get it to pass.
Yeah.
So then I thought I'd throw out some options, like this is proposed to recoup accumulated fines and maintenance costs and avoid future insurance premiums required to prevent liability to the city. And maybe people would be more apt to say, yes, let's sell this lot, because and maybe we even put in there, this is not a pocket park.
Yeah.
I mean, something to tell the people. And that's why below I said, we don't want to become a landlord, frankly. Do we want to encourage new home growth? I think it's zoned R2 in that area. So that's a resident,
Yeah, maybe mention that there are 3 pocket parks close to this piece of property.
Or maybe we just mention that it's a non-waterfront.
Yeah.
Put the words So I kind of like the thing at the bottom, believe it or not. Because I guess we're limited on words and whatnot. So if the referendum was worded like this, and we add in there non-waterfront or something, a vacant residential non-waterfront lot, then if somebody reads that, they're more likely to vote yes.
Yeah, well, we need to give as much information as possible because most
Yeah.
people aren't going to drive by and take a look at the lot.
Right.
So, and
Vice Mayor, I think it's actually worded really well. Either one of them, I think the more you add to any one of these things on a ballot, the less people read. Most people
Okay,
just
all right.
blow through it real quick, and they're like, okay, this makes sense, let's do it. If you start saying it, if you start overselling it, then people
Yeah.
start thinking
I
too
was
much
just
and start
throwing-
looking at
okay,
it. So I like either one. I like either what you added to the first one, or even the bottom one. I think it says exactly what we're talking about, exactly
Okay.
what's going on. You start saying non-waterfront, waterfront, people are going to start thinking, whoa, they're trying to run one by us, right? So that's really simple, really straightforward, and I think it's really understandable. I think you did a great job with that. This is right near you, right? This is like right around the corner.
Yeah, it's in my district. It's, I mean.
But it's
I
like right near your
walk by
house,
there.
isn't it? Right there, aren't you like right near this?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm on Boca Ciega, but it's like 3 blocks up.
Oh, okay.
But
So it's close.
It
Okay.
was a dilapidated house that finally, it was falling down, falling down.
Okay, I know where.
And now it's gone. But it's a nice little lot, frankly. I mean.
I thought initially it was the one that caught on fire, the one that was on, but that's not even on Third Street.
No.
That's actually on Boca Ciega, and it's
Right.
like right on that corner. Okay.
Yeah, no, that one is for sale too, but this one may be ours to sell,
okay.
so.
At this point, I always forget about the button. At this point, you need to address ordinance 2021-24, which will include having the referendum and all the other electoral stuff that needs to be addressed. And then we can either skip to, or when we get to the consent agenda, we can address any language changes you want and actually pass that or not.
Okay.
To kind of keep the two things separate. They're together, but yet they kind of need to be dealt with separately.
Right, okay. So we'll figure out which language we want to use a little later in the meeting.
Okay. All right, any public comment on this? Do I have a motion to
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance number 2021-24.
Do I have a second?
A second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is a request by DK Mad Beach LLC on behalf of the brass captain for alcohol beverage use, ABP 2021-07 for COP alcoholic beverage license with stated intent to sell beer, wine, and liquor. Sale by the drink for consumption on premises and package sales in sealed containers at the brass captain located at 15045 Madeira Way, Madeira Beach, 33708. Director Portell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, by title, a little bit confusing because we all know the brass
I'm
captain
sorry,
already.
I don't want to, I don't mean to
go
interrupt
ahead.
you. This is a quasi-judicial hearing.
Okay,
So let me
sorry
go
about
through
that.
the rules and
Okay,
everybody
sure.
can be on the same page before we get started. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding. I lost my words. A quasi-judicial proceeding where the Board of Commissioners acts in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At a quasi-judicial hearing, it is not the board's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The board may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established by the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant. At this time, I'd ask the board if there are any ex parte communications with anyone regarding this matter or any conflicts of interest. No. Seeing none, we'll move forward. Anyone that's going to testify needs to raise and stand and raise their right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Now you may proceed. Thank you.
Okay, now Director Portell.
Right. So again, this may be a little bit confusing because we all know the brass captain's already there and they're already serving alcohol. But what happens is that they want to expand into the bay next door, the commercial bay next door, and add a restaurant feature to the bar. And in so doing, it alters the location, expanse, and type of the alcoholic beverage license, and so they have to come back to us for reapproval or extension of that approval. And as you know, there are findings that you need to make for a quasi-judicial hearing, and specific to alcoholic beverages, those are provided in your packet. I will go through them. The extent to which the location, extent to which the proposed alcoholic beverage request will adversely affect the character of the existing neighborhood. Of course, the Brass Captain is currently operating a bar at that location, and the addition of a restaurant component to the bar will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There are other uses in the area that also allow for alcohol. It is an allowed use. Both the restaurant and the bar are allowed use under the zoning and land use categories. The Brass Captain is in the Madeira Beach Town Center Special Area Plan Commercial Core District, which has a focus on mixed-use type businesses such as being proposed. The zoning is the C3 Retail Commercial Zoning District, which allows alcohol as stated. Number two, the extent to which the traffic generation as a result of the location proposed alcoholic beverage request will create congestion or present a safety hazard. And of course, a portion of that is already in existence and operating. There was another business in that location before, so there was a certain number of trips generated as a right by the existing building and previous uses. One thing to consider here, which we had to look at very carefully, is that as with a lot of bars and restaurants, they did intend to use the very wide sidewalk in front for some additional outdoor seating. They do have outdoor bar seats, and in the back have a smoking area in an area that is not used by parking or not part of the required parking on that lot. So because of requirements for impact, it was necessary for the staff to count up every single seat to make sure that there was adequate parking, that the traffic count would bear the impact of an additional more intense use than was previously on the site, and also that there was adequate space and restroom facilities for the number of seats proposed. And they meet all of those criteria. We did count the seats. And when they're speaking to us before, thought they had 166 total possible seats if everything was filled at all times. We counted it as 174, and they meet all the criteria for restrooms, parking, and traffic with that count. Whether or not the proposed use is compatible with the location for which it is proposed. Again, it is in the Madeira Beach Town Center Special Area Plan and is actually one of the intended uses of those. One of the considerations we make under criteria number 3 is whether the property is located within 300 feet of a church, synagogue, temple, or place of religious worship, public or private school operated for the instruction of minors, or a youth recreation center. And it does not trigger any of those issues. It's not within 300 feet of any of those things. Number 4, whether or not the proposed use will adversely affect the public safety. Any concern that we've had regarding the use of or an extension of alcohol and outdoor activities in the Madeira Beach Town Center area has related to noise. And of course, everything this use would still have to meet with noise criteria and the enforcement of our codes. We haven't had any complaints made specifically about the Brass Captain or its use, and of course we'll continue to work with them to make sure that that record stays clear. Otherwise, a public safety issue is not expected to be triggered either. And number 5, no application for review under this section shall be considered until the applicant has paid in full any outstanding charges, fees, interest, fines, or penalties owed by the applicant to the city under any section of the code. They have no outstanding fines or penalties. I would like to point out, however, that there, even after the construction was done, there remains a porta-john out in the parking lot that the patrons have been using, and that will need to be removed because it's inconsistent with code. Otherwise, we have no issues to address at this time. And we'd like to make that a condition of approval.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion amongst the commission?
I guess I have one question, because it shows up in kind of the title of the request. It says the intent to sell beer, wine, and liquor. We know that, and I understand they're just expanding, but then it goes on to say package sales. Is there a request for them to be a package store as well?
No.
Okay.
What you have there is the full definition under the state's
Got it. Okay.
license.
Yeah.
You can always specify that that's not your intent as well if you're
Yeah, I
concerned
just,
about that.
don't want to end up with a party going on over in Archibald Park under the pavilion with carrying the
I was
brown
thinking it'd be
paper
probably
bag over there.
a good idea for people at the Cambria to walk over and get a bottle and go back to their room. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with them expanding their license. Oh,
If the applicant's present, he does have an opportunity to make a statement should he wish to.
We're good.
Okay. We need
Any public comment on this? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we allow the brass captain to expand their alcohol beverage use license into the nearby restaurant area, or to expand their footprint, since it's approval by staff, under the condition that they remove the porta potty that's on the premises.
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks.
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is unfinished business. Amendment to the Gulf Beaches Interlocal Agreement, Gulf Beaches Library Interlocal Agreement. Vice Mayor Price, I know you're on the board. You've been going around with them, and I've been in discussions with the other mayors regarding the interlocal agreement. There were some changes made by Treasure Island. They're rather insignificant, but it seemed to make Treasure Island happy, so.
Yeah, and I read through and compared the two, and I'm in agreement with everything they've added, and think they've even cleaned it up a little bit. But there was one area that caused me a little concern, and that was the 4 towns initially agreed, and I'll tell you where this is. Well, let me find it in our packet. So, I'm trying to find the numbers just to make sure everybody's got it. Okay. So, if you look on page 136 of 183, this is the Treasure Island Agreement. page 4 of 5.
136.
136 of 183 in our packet. And if you go to the top under section 5.1, other library board actions, and circle C, all right? And then compare that with the Madeira Beach agreement, which I guess isn't in here, but it was in my dais, okay? If you compare that with the Madeira Beach agreement, section 5.1C, that's the only thing that I was unclear on, and I'll just explain it. The 4 towns initially agreed that it said the library will adopt a policy directing, reserves shall not exceed $100,000, right? Because they had like $1 million in the bank.
Right.
The Treasure Island version is the library adopt a policy directing undesignated fund balance reserves shall not exceed 10% of its total undesignated fund balance. Okay? Nobody knows what, in our budget at the library, there's nothing called designated or undesignated. So it's a little bit, but even if you took every bit of money that they had and took 10%, that's $100,000. So I don't think we would be remiss to go ahead and approve this, even though this is a crazy clause.
It's a crazy clause. If anything, they've probably cut it under 100,000.
I think they did.
So
because we're spending the money like crazy.
That's why I've got a big smile on my face.
Oh, okay. All right, but
it doesn't mean anything really.
I think we should adopt the Treasure Island version, and I guess that just would involve the mayor signing a new signature page.
Well, I think we need to vote on it.
Yeah.
As you know. So, any other input from the commission? Is there any public comment on this? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement for the continuing funding of the Gulf Beaches Public Library.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is contracts and agreements. A consultant agreement with a Clarion LLC contractor who shall appoint the president of the company, Andrew Laughlin, to perform the duties of finance director of the city treasurer for the city of Madeira Beach. City manager Daniels.
Yes, sir. I believe the commission has been satisfied with the services provided by Andrew and Clarion LLC. So he has submitted his contract renewal, which is an annual process that we go through, and any questions that you might have, Andrew is here with us tonight. So is there any other comments you'd like to make?
No, it's been a great year and change serving the city. I think we've made some great strides and some things that we've accomplished, and there's certainly more to do. So given the opportunity, I'm excited to continue on with the city and lead the finance department.
Andrew, what is this the same we were paying last year?
The total last year was $7,000 per month. This is $7,200 per month, so about a 2% increase.
Okay.
Other than that, I didn't line up the two agreements before tonight, I'm sorry, but other than that, is the agreement the same?
Everything's pretty much identical. I think within the scope of services, we might have looked at that a little closer based on the duties and edited and added a couple things, but overall, all the terms and conditions are identical.
I'm fine with a 2% increase.
Anyone else?
I think,
Is there any public comment? Is there a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the consultant agreement with a
Clarion. Oh.
Hold on, let me find it. Oh, let's try it again. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the consultant agreement with a Clarion LLC.
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for annual regulatory program and surveillance fee. Whatever this is. Director Wepfer.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is just basically a very fancy, long title it's for our stormwater, for the surveillance fee. So each municipality around us has a stormwater permit. It's through our NPDES, which is basically the clean water. So this is just basically stating that Pinellas County pays the whole surveillance fee for all of the county, and then it's broken up, which is in your packet, on the percentage based on your population.
Okay.
So, any other questions?
So it's pretty cut and dry.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to pass the interlocal agreement?
I'll make the motion to,
Public comment.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you were right. Is any public comment? You're not going to make any public comment tonight?
Oh, okay, got it.
Be sure you got that down, Clara. Soft laughter from the audience. Okay, now do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to pass the interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for the annual regulatory program and surveillance fee.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is 3-year amendment to the existing agreement with the Snack Shack. City Manager Daniels.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. This has been a outstanding relationship that we've had with our concessionaire for the Snack Shack over at Archibald Park. And as called for within the agreement, they were allowed to come back and request a 2-year extension. In our negotiations, they asked if we, in light of what happened with COVID and the fact that they were closed for a period of time and obviously has had an impact on their business, they asked for a 3rd year to be extended, and Mr. Trask was consulted in reference to this, and he said that that's the purview of the commission if they wanted to, but it'd be explainable, you know, with what they've been through. Pretty much in the original agreement, we had utility payments that were to be made, but there was no water meters to count the usage of the water. So with our negotiations, we were able to come up with an agreement where the concessionaire is going to supply a meter and the plumbing, and obviously the permits and everything. In fact, I think Alan had mentioned that he's all set to go with the permits and so forth. So we're just waiting on your approval of this. It does have a proviso in there for increases for each of the 3 years annually. I think it adds up to a 3% increase that Mr. Trash included in the agreement. And there was also, because of our increased janitorial services for Archibald, the bathrooms, they also supply funding for those services for the bathrooms, and that was increased. And aside from setting up some terms just for doing the annual inspections, and I think it's my recommendation that you all approve this.
Thank you. Is there any comment amongst the commission?
Nope, looks like a lot of things got ironed out.
No, they're great. They've always done a great job out there, so I don't see any reason to bail on this now, so let's move forward.
Yeah, any public comment? Now's your chance again. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 3-year amendment to the existing contract with the snack shop.
A second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome to hang around, otherwise we got nobody in the audience.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, new business. This is where I got ahead of myself on that property. Resolution 2021-12 ballot language for the March 15th, 2022 municipal election, sale of vacant lot at 13222 3rd Street East, Madeira Beach, 33708.
I'll read the resolution title, and then
Okay.
we can decide what language you guys want to use. Resolution number 2021-12, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, calling for a referendum election to be held in conjunction with its municipal election on March 15th, 2022, establishing the wording of the substance of the referendum question and ballot title for the sale of real property located at 13222 3rd Street East in Madeira Beach, Florida, providing for said election, submitting said referendum question to the voters, providing for notice to the supervisor of elections, and providing for the effective date hereof.
Thank you. Okay. Now back to the wording that we had on this. Yeah, I like Vice Mayor Price's write-up also. I don't know if we need to add generate revenue on there or not, or just leave it as it is on the top one.
I like either one, the top or the bottom.
And do we need to point out that there are 3 other pocket parks around there?
I say not even, because it's not a pocket park.
Well, it's not now, but that's what it will end up being if we hold on to it. Is just another piece of property we got to mow the grass on.
No, tell them if we don't sell it, we'll turn it into the Public Works facility. Start parking the garbage trucks there. There'll be a for sale sign up there in an
I
hour.
need an improvement, actually, from that little house that was there.
Yeah, and just, we can put a fence around it and, okay. So,
Yeah, I don't know whether people would think pocket parks. If they know that, and maybe we say something about that it was acquired by lien or something, so that people understand this, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just a lot in the neighborhood that should be sold, so a little house can go up on there or whatever.
Right.
You are limited to 75 words.
That's it.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So the more you put, the more you might feel the need to explain. And if you don't explain enough, then it becomes confusing.
Yeah.
So you might want to keep it as simple as you can.
Yeah, Vice Mayor Price, I think the first one is really easy
Okay.
to explain.
Me too.
I think it's understandable, and I think that somebody that reads it is going to know exactly what we're talking about. And we're also going to talk about it prior to it going. When during the election, it's going to come up, and people are going to be asking questions about it anyway. So,
Right.
But yeah, I like the wording of that one. I think it flows a little better than the one on the bottom, but I would go with the one on top.
Fine with me.
okay. Maybe we need to start parking the garbage trucks over there before the. Okay. I don't know that do we need to vote on this, on the wording?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll call that option 1, and the one below it, option 2. May I have a motion for option 1 or option 2?
I'll make a motion to choose option 1 to authorize, for the referendum, number 1 referendum question, authorize the sale of real property located at 1322 3rd Street East.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0 for option 1.
Mr. Mayor? And then we just need to vote on the underlying resolution now with option 1 language.
You've agreed on you've agreed on the language. Now you need to agree that you want the referendum to go forward in March with the election.
Okay. So now I need a motion on resolution 2021-12.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 2021-12.
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price?
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes.
The motion carried 5-0.
Next is staff reports.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one issue that I wanted to make the commission aware of in meeting with our fire chief. In our budget, we have a fire rescue boat, and I think the game plan is to, instead of buying the new jet skis, we'd be buying a boat that'd be a little bit more sufficient for providing the services to our residents. The budget amount, I believe, was $65,000. The problem is finding a boat. What the chief has gone out, he's got 3 quotes, and he found a place that they actually have the boat that they've spec'd out to get. It's $60,000, so it's less money. But the problem is with our procurement process, unless you decide to waive that, we would have to go out and do an RFP because it's over $30,000. But it's in our budget. You've already approved the budget. So I don't know if it's proper for me to ask them to do this under this, or if we'd have to do a special meeting. But we need to jump at it while we can, I guess. Have I said that correctly, Chief? Okay. So.
I don't know the answer to your question.
Okay.
I don't.
If we don't have a good answer right now, I would rather have a special meeting on it to be sure that we do this properly.
Pardon me? Well, we don't know. So, yes, come on up, Chief. I'm sorry. Maybe there's some way I can tie it up. I feel pretty secure that you all would probably grant that waiver. It's just the technicality of having the meeting. So,
yeah. So
go ahead, Chief.
The boat is located in Connecticut. It's literally the only boat I can find that's in our budget. I did like a Zoom meeting with them. They gave me a tour of the boat. The other 3 bids that we've received are more than what our budget has, and some of them are even double. They literally have 1 boat in stock. So I don't know if sole source is an option, but I feel like if we wait too long, it might be gone.
Yeah.
And even getting a motor, because this has a Mercury motor on it, and I said, what are the options? He said there are none. It's 53 weeks to get a new motor. So I was just hoping for maybe a sole source option to go ahead and purchase this one.
So it sounds like you went and got bids, but we didn't do a proper RFP.
Well, I just got vendors to send me quotes,
right?
Not formal bids.
Right.
I have a sole source letter from this vendor. They are still willing to honor the price that they quoted us back in August. And the boat has everything we need. We have the county, they have shown support to buy the electronics for it, the emergency lights, everything we need to have this thing up and running. So I guess the only issue that I'm having, the only concern that I have is the availability. You know, if this one's gone, it's going to be tough to find another one within this price range anyways.
So do we think the issue is that we should have had this on the agenda and noticed to the public? Or, I mean, if it's already in your budget, but it's in the budget as jet skis, right?
No, it's in there as a boat.
It is it? Oh.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking to do a sole source option as opposed to putting it out to bid, which would then be, 2 weeks or 30 days, and I don't know if we have that long to wait. So I guess I'm just kind of looking for approval to go.
Right. In fairness, you've already gotten other bids, right?
Yeah.
So you've already gotten other bids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to speak for the attorneys, but I mean, we've granted waivers if something's in the budget, we've granted waivers to bypass an RFP process before in the past. I don't see what the reason would be here. I mean, I don't even think, as long as we agree on it. I mean, it's got to be agreed on by the board, but I think we've done this before in the past. I don't think that we've had an issue with that, but I certainly don't want to overstep it, and but with the way inflation's going right now, we're going to have our firemen out there with oars, and they're going to be paddling to the scene. So, if we can do it, let's do it. If not, I mean, we can call a special meeting if it's okay with the mayor.
Can we
take a comfort break? We could take a 5-minute comfort break, and we can probably address this.
Okay. Sure.
We'll phone a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this meeting is called back to order at 7:45 p.m.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, please.
I think the best solution for this situation, you all know the fact pattern, and I think this, under the authority that I have to make an emergency purchase, I feel a lot better going out making the purchase and having you ratify that at a special meeting, that I took this action, and, and this is why we took it. This way we can post it and do it the way, if we had the time, that we could do it. So this way we can lock in the boat, we get that taken care of, and I think we're talking about maybe having a special meeting next week. I'm not sure. I don't want to go ahead of us, but whenever we can do it, there's still going to be a period of time to get the boat brought down here anyhow. So, and this way we can, move forward with it. Unless you all have any objections right now, that's my plan to do it, and our council is happy with that solution.
That's satisfactory to me.
Me too.
I'm sorry,
Did you copy all that?
I missed it. What?
I'm declaring it an emergency purchase because of the circumstances.
Yep.
And we just have to come back at a special meeting that might be held next week and have them ratify this action that I'm taking.
Perfect. Great news. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. When will it be here? I want to take it for a spin.
Just under official business, though, you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, next is, I'll spin donuts in front of your house, Dave. Where are we? Staff reports. We just had the boat. Anyone else got anything for us? Updates on groins or anything, or seafood festival? I know we got a couple of good bands.
Actually, I do have a quick update. The lights started today, the construction for the lights. So if on your way out, you can see the first row of the tennis lights, which are on the south side of the property, are all updated. They're not aimed yet, nor are they. We have the ability to control them from 0 to 100%, so they are super bright right now, but you can definitely notice the difference between what we had and what we will have. So look forward to showing those off here in the next couple weeks when they're done. So.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay, next is agenda setting for the October 27th workshop.
An item that I would like to add,
okay,
if the commission is interested, because I would have time, a discussion on any possible charter amendments that the board would like to have on the March election. If we come up with any, the first reading of the ordinance, we have time for November, second reading and public hearing in December, and that gives plenty of time for the ballot language deadline at December 31st.
Okay. So, in the meantime, just be thinking of anything you may want to discuss on
and also
charter amendments.
This doesn't go by charter amendment, but also an item to discuss possibly the increase in salary for the Board of Commissioners. Of course, it would not be, if we did an ordinance, adopted an ordinance increasing the salary, it would not take effect at the March election because it has to be adopted at least 6 months in advance, but at least we will have it adopted and then go from there when the next election it would go in effect.
Well, we can discuss that, whether we want to do that or whether we want to do the insurance that we discussed to try to get some younger folks involved in city
and I can
government.
include that in the same item. And I'll do research on how other cities go about providing the health insurance, whether they do an ordinance or whatever. I'll contact several cities.
Okay.
Can you also do a salary survey as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Similar.
That's my intention, is checking with everybody to see what their salary is for their commissioners and if they provide health insurance and what procedure they do for that.
Okay, and by the way, y'all probably got emails on this. We're down 2 members on Planning and Zoning Commission, and we're down 1 or 2 members on Civil Service.
Correct.
It's actually 4 on the Planning Commission.
What happened was we have 2 expired terms on September the 30th. They ended up not, 2 members ended up not submitting an application in September, which created a vacancy. So we're, when advertising before, putting that special criteria in there, I didn't get any response. So I suggested taking out the special, because it's an option, you know, because when we adopted the ordinance, Trask had mentioned, Attorney Trask had mentioned that sometimes looking for specific criteria, it may be difficult to get members to serve. So we're going to send that back out, and I think Jay is putting it out through social media, and he may have done it today, and trying to get members. And also, city manager asked that the front desk upstairs and bottom to provide it to everybody that comes in. Like someone comes in to pull a building permit, give them a copy of it, and of the advertisement, they might be interested. And also, Patty, when someone comes in to purchase an annual parking pass or a monthly pass, give it to them. And some, you know, if they're a resident, of course, they can serve if they're interested. At least put in an application. So.
Yeah, I need an application for zoning and planning. I've got someone that's interested.
Yes, sir.
Great. I think that's what we're hoping. You know, between all of us doing a concerted effort, we can get those ranks up, because we're required to have, you know, the Planning Commission meet should we get applications in and so forth. So
correct. We had 2 board members that actually sold their home and they're moving. One of them is Mr. Preston, and the other one is Eric. I can't recall his last name, but they had put their house up for sale. I guess they submitted their resignation, so I guess they have their homes sold. So everything just happened, you know, and then expiring of the terms. And so, like Bob said, you know, with a joint effort there, we can get applications as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because there's 4 members meet the quorum for the Planning Commission.
Okay. And also, we had the town hall meeting on parking rates. I think that's something we need to go ahead and take to a workshop.
Yeah, that's on the agenda here, I believe.
Well, it's got employee parking on there, but
okay, I'm sorry.
But it doesn't have anything about the parking rates.
We definitely need to,
Do you want to include that as one item, or?
No.
No, that's
separate. Yes, ma'am.
Who wants to discuss the employee parking, or is that just something that was left over from that meeting?
Yes, that was mentioned at the town hall meeting about possibly discussing that, so I added it just in case.
Well, that was if we have a garage. I don't know if there's too much to discuss about that at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we can put it on there in case someone comes up with an idea, but I don't know how we're going to do anything about that now.
Well, we're already putting out $200,000 this year on engineering on the garage. So I think we need to start.
The parking increase.
Right, we need to go ahead and get it in place.
I think there's a separate
start building that bank.
Okay, so I can change that item to that, just parking rate increase.
Mr. Mayor, I have one, and you know what, it just came up tonight, so I don't even know really how to word it. And it's not a knock on anything that we've done previous, but I think it's something we have to discuss going forward, because I think we're going to start seeing it a little bit more. And I'd also, when I looked at the Snack Shack contract, I didn't see it. I think we got to come up with some kind of plan, because I think we're going to see more PDs coming out. We're going to see things like the Schooner Hotel. We're going to see things, you know, and I even think some of these condo hotels, because look, everything costs more now. Inflation is, you know, we're paying more at the pumps, we're paying more at the grocery store, we're paying more all over the place. And a lot of these places don't want to increase the rates on their homeowners or the owners of the units. We got to kind of come up with a plan for the future on what we're going to do if somebody wants to put a bar on the beach or be able to serve alcohol on the beach, or and this has nothing to do with caddies. I know why we did that initially, and I haven't even spoken to them about it because it just honestly I was just reading through some things tonight and it came up. The idea I'm thinking is, okay, well, we just talked about the Snack Shack, and the Snack Shack is able to provide chairs for their patrons, and the Snack Shack is, well, I mean, obviously the city is providing the chairs for the patrons through another contract. You can get a bucket of beer at the Snack Shack and walk on the beach with it, and there's no violation of anything. I don't want to over-govern, and I think you guys all know that about. I've spoken about this before in the past, and the rules for thee and not for me. I think we need to come up with a plan, because as we see some more things pop along the beach, like a schooner hotel or other things that may be coming down the pike with other PDs, we got to come up with a plan. If people want to put chairs out on the beach, maybe we got to discuss if that's going to be the plan going forward, or we're going to do what we did in the caddy sense. And I get it. In the caddy sense, we didn't know what was happening. It happened really quickly. What I can tell you about what I've seen in my neighborhood about that, these guys were facing a lot of issues early, but they've addressed most of them. So it might be time to look at that. I know, judging by the seats that they have and the parking and everything else, they can't serve on the beach. But as far as allowing them to put chairs on the beach, it is their property. Should we look into that as being the new catalyst for what we're doing going forward? Because this is going to come up again. And I'd like to, we don't govern for today, we govern for the future. So I think we need to at least get a plan together on what we want to do as a board. People can change it down the road, but what we want to do as a board as that issue comes up down the road. So obviously I didn't know how to word it.
And that was the short version.
How about chairs on the beach?
And I will, and we can put it on the workshop. I will say right up front, I see the caddies down in Sunset Beach every weekend, and that's not something I want to see get started in Madeira Beach. And I was opposed to it at this caddies, and I will remain opposed to it. That's just my take on it.
Well, that was one of the conditions of, I don't know if it was their alcohol license or something. One of the conditions was they would not put chairs on the beach.
And yet they tried to do it.
Well, they did do it.
Yeah, they did do it.
That was our condition. That wasn't the alcohol license condition. That was our condition. We told them they couldn't put chairs on the beach. So all I'm saying is we got to be consistent.
Yeah.
So the next license that comes up with that, are we going to tell them, no, you can't? Because we don't tell other condo complexes they can't put chairs on the beach. We don't tell anybody else other than that specific area that they can't put chairs on the beach. Just want to be consistent. I don't want to overgovern. That's
right.
All I'm going to bring up. And we can talk about this. And like I said, this is a good thing for a workshop because I think we can bat it back and forth and we can see where we're at. Yeah. But whatever we come up with, that's the plan going forward, because I don't think we can turn to the next person and say, okay, well, you guys can do it, but caddies can't because they've got a place in Sunset Beach that overdoes it. I don't think you'll ever see that here. They just don't have the parking. They don't have the availability to get that many people there. But that would be my opinion. And like I said, my neighborhood has seemed to, the temperature has gone down dramatically.
Yeah, oh, believe me, my phone was ringing off the hook. I'm sure all of ours was.
Mine was my door. I thank God I don't have a front door. They were knocking on my garage. But the temperature has gone down dramatically. I think people see what their whole plan was there. But like I said, this is not, I'm not inviting them to the meeting to discuss it. That's not what we're discussing. I think we need to discuss what our plan going forward is going to be. Thank you.
Okay.
As part of that, can we get information on Kitty Stewart parking, how much revenue that it made like a year ago or before and after caddies went in? Is that something
I'm sure
that
it's making
Andrew...
more now. Hopefully, yeah. Oh my God, yeah, there's more parking spaces and they're always full now. So
my suggestion would be, if you want to do a comparison, don't do last year because of COVID. I'd go back another year and then use that as your base, and then you can look at where you're at this year.
So is that an Andrew thing?
No.
Or is that a?
Well, it comes out of finance.
Parking or?
But yeah, it comes out of parking, so.
Right. We just got to make sure the right person knows
Right.
what.
We'll get it taken care of. Between Andrew and I, we'll make sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I guess that's everything on there. Okay, we're adding discussion on chairs on the beach for bars, restaurants, tiki bars. Actually, if you live down by the Caddies in Sunset Beach, you'd know what I mean, Doug. Come on, come on down this weekend.
No, thanks.
Okay. Next is reports and correspondence. Board of Commissioners, has anyone got anything? Nope.
Oh, I will be, I guess, and maybe this is a workshop thing, I don't know. I need an alternate for the library board.
Okay,
So I don't know, I mean, I don't anticipate missing meetings, and maybe I do it on an ad hoc, maybe I go, hey, I'm going to miss this one meeting, who can attend in my stead? I don't think I have to name somebody, but do we want, if someone wants to volunteer for that, that's fine too, but.
Have y'all voted on reducing the board to 5 members?
We have. And it's going into effect at our November 15 meeting.
Okay.
I don't anticipate my alternate showing up at the meetings, right? I only want them to be there when I'm not there to vote.
Okay.
Some cities are sending 2 people anyway, and one voting, one non-voting, but.
Yeah, and that's
really required.
that's
Yeah.
their prerogative, but
Yeah.
I would prefer to see that alternate also be, y'all can't talk to each other, but I guess on the library, well, if you're an alternate, you can't be talking either. I think y'all are governed under the Sunshine Law, aren't you? No?
I, in fact, emails went out about an issue, and I called Mr. Trask and said, should I jump in on this? Because it involves Madeira Beach and the parking situation with the King of the Beach. And I said, I think I got a solution, but I'm afraid to jump in on this email string. He goes, are you guys a 501c3? I said, I don't know. He goes, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
So he looked it up, and he called me back and said, you're not under the Sunshine Law. You're not a government. You're a 501c3.
Okay.
So you can talk.
Okay.
And so, and the board all the time is emailing. But now, all of a sudden, at the last meeting, someone said, we're under the Sunshine Law. And I tried to tell them, I don't think so, but anyway, we're having the library attorney settle that once and for all on November 15th.
Good. So I would like to see us as an alternate keep it unelected officials so that we're watching out not only for the library, but we're watching out for the city's best interests up there.
I agree with you.
And
I'll let you know if I ever don't make a meeting, right?
Okay.
Or we could talk about it at that time.
What date or what day of the week and time are the
It's
meetings?
usually the first or second Monday of every month at 4:30 at our library. But in November, we're having to do it on the 15th, and I think a lot of people are gone, so we sort of agreed to that. So yeah, we have a November 15th, and I'm going to be able to make that. Let me look at the 6th. Okay, well, you know what? Let me just search for library. I'm sorry, folks. We don't have sheets like this. So nice that we put together. Okay, so the next one's December 20.
Oh, so you're not having one November 15th?
We are. Yeah, November 15, December 20, and I think that's as far as it's gotten right now. So when I look at the calendar,
At 4:30?
I don't know if that's, I don't even see that on my calendar. That must have been last year is all I can think of. I don't know what it is. It's either the first or the second Monday of every month. But we have an exception for next month, and we haven't gone any further than that because we've been in a little bit of turmoil. I have a feeling after the November 15 meeting, we're going to have it together a little bit more. I mean, I anticipate making the December meeting as well. I just thought I'd give everybody a heads up on that.
Okay. So do we have a volunteer, or is this something we need to take?
I can do it ad hoc. I mean, like, if I can't make the January meeting, I can come to everybody in November and say, hey, I can't make the January meeting. Who else is free? It doesn't, we don't have to assign somebody.
Okay.
You know.
Let's just do that for the time being.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Looked like Commissioner Hudson was jumping out of his chair to be the backup.
Okay, well.
He was. I saw that. I saw him.
I don't mind. Okay. Just give me directions and aim me in the right direction.
Okay.
Commissioner Hudson, the biggest thing, and all this came about, we want somebody, when we're giving the library $80,000-$90,000, we want to be sure our money is being used properly. In a nutshell, that's it. That's all the big to-do was about.
Okay.
And had it not been for that coming to a head a year and a half ago, the library wouldn't be fixed up like it is right now. So
It's really nice, by the way, and we're getting a lot of new equipment, and I don't know who else uses the library. I'm now using their e-books and having them downloaded to my Kindle. I mean, it's terrific. They're doing a lot.
yeah, I just drive by now and say, that's the weirdest blue on the roof I've ever seen.
It matches everything. We're getting a new roof, too.
Okay. Anyone else got anything up here?
I'm good, thank you.
City Attorney, have you got anything for us?
No, sir.
City Manager?
Yes, I know we sort of hinted at a special meeting, and I also wanted to bring to the board's attention, I think Mr. Trask and our rec director or future interim manager, Jay Hatch, have talked about a contract. So I just wanted to make sure that if you are going to have a special meeting, we can cover the ratification of the emergency purchase that I'm doing with the boat and Jay's contract if it's ready. So I'm just trying to make sure all those loose ends are tied up.
Okay. Thank you.
You all have a date, Clara, that you were doing your special meeting?
I provided the a copy of the current calendar to the board, if you would look at that. I was thinking about, the last day to receive applications for the city manager position is Sunday on the 17th. And possibly having a special meeting next week to go through the applications and selecting which ones you would like to interview to get that started.
So the last day is Sunday, but it's going to take a day or so for
Yeah, that's really effective.
Mr. Lilly.
The 18th, yeah.
So roughly the 19th or the 20th.
If we can do the 21st, I can be here.
Okay.
That gives us a little more time to look at it, too. He's going to have to put it in our boxes. We're going to have to look at it and come back and discuss intelligently.
That's fine with me.
2 p.m.
21st.
Is that fine with everyone else?
Is that Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And if you like, we could put, I think we've received 12 so far as tonight. before the meeting, we can put copies in your box as we get them, and that way you can start looking at them.
I think that'd be helpful. Okay. Anything else? City Clerk, have you got anything else?
I do. My new assistant, Laura Hewley, her first day on the job will be October the 27th, which is a Wednesday. And Miss Megan Weffer, outside of her beginning her master's degree for her public administration, has decided to take a day out that she finds convenient to take the assistant around and let her get familiar with all the facilities and what's going on in the city, because that's a big help when you're doing minutes, to be able to visualize, what people are talking about. So I really appreciate Director Megan Weffer for volunteering to do that. And thank you, Megan. And that night is our workshop meeting in which she'll attend, and I'll introduce her, and she can tell a little bit about herself.
And L-O-R-A or L-A-U-R-A?
L-A-R-A, Laura S. Hewley, H-O-O-L-E-Y.
Okay. And we've got the workshop.
And Megan's very busy handling everything in Public Works and studying her master's degree, because I know.
We're proud of you, Director.
Yes.
We really are. Okay. I think that's got it. If there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned at 8:12.